Welcome to Simply Caroline, a podcast dedicated to women empowerment where we will discuss a bunch of different subjects such as life, parenting, love, business, money, relationships, healing, recovery, addiction, entrepreneurship, and so much more. A podcast I'll do my best to keep simple, fun, and relatable and bring you tools to help you better your life. So thank you for being here. And here's your host, myself, Caroline Blanchard. And welcome back. I have such a beautiful and fun guest today. I've been laughing my head off already just in the pre-interview. Suzanne Peters, how are you?
I am great. How are you? I'm so happy to be here.
And I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. I'm doing great as well. And no, Susan is not a comedian. That's not what we're going to talk about today. But she has such an infectious laugh. So today we're talking about the power of owning your story. And actually, I'm going to ask her the same question I did in pre-interview, because that was the first time that I really started laughing. I said, so what are your credentials? No, what are you calling yourself, Susan? Like, your title.
I am the CEO of Woman LLC, which is a personal development company for women. So I don't call myself coach.
Yes. But the
but
reason I laughed in pre-interview is because when I said that, she's like, I call myself Suzanne Peters. I'm like, that's a good one. Thank you. Shouldn't we all answer this? Like, why are you trying to call me something else than my name? So, but I also love your CEO title. So talk a bit about what it is.
Woman to Woman?
Yeah.
Woman to Woman is a personal development company for women. I have a natural passion for working with women. Naturally, I say naturally because I'm the eldest of 4 girls. I grew up with my mom and 3 sisters. So it has always been a part of my life, just speaking life into other women and encouraging them and sharing with them. So I was able to take what has always been a big part of my life and make it my business. So I don't work for a living. I just do me.
That's so awesome. If we could all do that, we would be a better place. And Susan, you have this gorgeous accent. Where is it from?
Oh, I am from the beautiful Caribbean islands of Trinidad and Tobago. And just so you know, if anyone out there wants to know about Trinidad and Tobago, just go Google the best carnival in the world. And I'm not talking about carnival with the Ferris wheel. I'm talking about, the Brazilian style carnival. Yeah, that kind.
Great. And I will go Google. I'm looking to book a vacation. So how we
Awesome.
came to talk about these Caribbean islands, but okay, that's my ADD. So let's focus back on our subject because yes, I just want to be on a beach right now. And it's funny because you
You
grew
love
up on
it.
a beach and you're like, oh, just leave me alone with the beach. But aren't we all always want to be where we were not raised?
I was at the beach every weekend. Sometimes after work during the week, I would run away and just drive up to the beach and just relax for the evening. So it's a normal thing for me. Yeah, normal.
Must be a peaceful, stress-free life though, but no,
Yeah,
you probably
to
have
get
your
laid back.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So how did you come up with the power of owning your story?
Well, when I had just started my business and I started to retrace my own steps, I realized, listen, what I actually did was take the lessons out of my own story, my own life experiences, and what I already knew, and package it in a way that I could now teach other people to do what I did. So when I took a closer look, I was like, listen, I really owned my story. I can teach more people how to do this. So owning your story has literally become a big part of my life. I give it in talks on stages when I go different places. And I also have my first collaboration book. And guess what it's called? She Owned Her Story.
Oh, nice. Nice. When is this coming out?
It's going to be out in June.
Awesome. So people go get it in June. But where did it come from that you were like, no, I need to own my story? Because I feel like for me, if you say that, I feel there's a lot of people, myself included, we tend to want to have a different story or embellish our story or, borrow someone else's story. And owning your story is very powerful, but sometimes it seems so mundane and we want to be anything else but.
What I learned, in order to answer this question, I'm going to have to give you a little piece of my story. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. When I was 28 years old, yes, I am a lot older now.
Yeah, she looks about 29 today.
You're funny, but thank you. At the age of 28, I left my corporate job. I used to be an accounts officer at one of the largest insurance companies in my country. But after I worked so hard to get this job, I hated it. It was so boring. Like, seriously, I hated it. And I was in a place in my life where so much changes were going on. I had just gotten out of an abusive marriage, and I was now like finding myself, so to speak. So then I realized, you know what? I hate this job. I don't even want to be here. And I decided to leave my good job, my good job. I have to stress on that.
And that you're probably talking salary.
Yes.
Because it's funny how we always associate good job or worse job with the salary, but there's more than that to it.
Exactly. So when I say good, that's what I'm talking about. The security that came with it. And I went out to start my own business. Within less than 3 years, my business failed. And when I said failed, I mean I literally lost everything. I had to sell some of my belongings to try and pay off some debts. My vehicle was repossessed. Things got so bad. I came home one evening and saw an eviction notice on my door.
Oh.
So naturally, anyone in that situation would get depressed. I was literally locked away for days. No one can get me because my phone was always on airplane mode. I just needed to clear my head. But of course, just locking yourself away and drowning yourself in sorrow doesn't solve anything. But because of that, I found myself literally at the door to depression because now I was sitting there like, I can't do this. I want out. But I'm the eldest of 4 girls. I have a mother. I have a family who I'm like, you know what? I want out of this thing called life. I can take my life right now, but I don't want to hurt my family. How can I do this and make it look like an accident? How can I do this and have them not hate me for doing it? Because I loved my family. So it mattered to me that I would leave them grieving, unhappy. And that is what I think prevented me from just getting it over with. So I was sitting there. Exactly, because I didn't want to die. I just wanted out of the situation I was in.
Yeah, and I want to point out here because we will just have a series on suicide awareness. Wow. What you're talking about here is a very permanent solution for a temporary problem. And when I say thank God, is that look at you now, you would have missed all of that.
Yeah. But I wasn't done thinking, though. I was literally trying to figure out the best way to do it. But what happened is, although my phone was on airplane mode, I would always connect to my neighbor's Wi-Fi. And I would be on YouTube, how to change your life, how to fix your life, how to bounce back. I would be looking for solutions and I couldn't find what I was looking for. But right at the moment where I was sitting, like literally sitting on the cold white tiles, looking at a bottle of bleach, saying, you know what, maybe I should just get it over with. God would find a way to distract you when he needs to distract you and get your attention. Just as I was thinking that, It was as if a presence, no, this is the best way for me to explain it to you. It was as though a presence had entered my apartment. The place got chilly, and out of nowhere, I heard someone's voice say, from my phone, say, there is greatness within you. And I jumped because my phone was just there, not realizing it had just automatically reconnected to my neighbor's Wi-Fi, and YouTube came back on, and there was this man giving a speech, there is greatness within you. Now, can you imagine how I sat there and laughed? I laughed. I laughed so hard, I started to cry.
Well,
But
I can only imagine. After the initial heart attack, you're like, oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm laughing now, but every time I take my mind back there, it's like a whole new experience because I know what it's like to want to give up, to just be there. Okay, I need a way out. And then out of nowhere, this voice came, there's greatness within you. Well, after I was done laughing at myself, I started to cry and I just tuned in and listened to what he had to say. Then came another person, which was Lisa Nichols, talking about her story and her experience. Well, the man before was Les Brown, right?
Yeah. No, it's like, I love Lisa Nichols.
And I listened to her story, and then I was like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that these people went through so much and look at where they are now? I spent that entire night listening to other people's story, one story after the next of people who came back from the brink, who was able to just turn their life around in such a way that it seems like magic. And I started to question, I wonder if I could do that. So by the time morning came, I was so happy that I didn't do what I was thinking about doing. I got down on my knees. I thank God. I said, I know that was you. That was divine intervention right there. And I promised myself and I promised him I would figure it out. And when I figure it out, I'm not going to keep it to myself. I'm going to do just what they are doing and share it with others. And that is how my whole journey started.
Wow.
I told my story.
Yeah. And you know what? I love what Brene Brown says on that. She says, you sharing your story today will be the survival guide for someone one day. And we don't realize that, I think, because like I said earlier, we often think that our story is so mundane because we've been living it every single day. But everyone has a piece of advice to share. And if we would all talk more about, our realities, not sinking in the drama or sinking in the depression, but really talking more logically on a logical level, and I think that's a bit what you're doing.
Yeah, because when we start to share and speak on that level, then we realize how much we actually have in common with other people. And it's only from sharing. But a lot of time, especially where women are concerned, many times we prefer to keep what we're going through to ourselves, or we're too embarrassed, or we don't want to share that. That is too personal. Not realizing someone else out there needs what we have to share. Our life is dependent. Their life can be dependent upon that.
Yeah. And I think that the other part too is that quite often we, you and I seem to be from the same generation, even if you look like my daughter's age, but
you should see my gray hair.
No, they're not. We don't see them. No, but my point is, like, we were raised with movies where everything always finishes with happily ever after. And everything is always a drastic change. Like, your life got better. And that's when people are sharing it. So I feel like sometimes we wait to share because we're like, well, it's not perfect yet. And I still have my depressed days and it's still hard and I'm still hustling. So we think that we need to get to the top, be a billionaire on the beach, and then it would be worth sharing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that couldn't be further from the truth, because when I actually started sharing, I was still in the midst of everything. But that that intervention was like an epiphany for me. I literally got on social media. I had no audience. No one knew me, but I started speaking to myself and to others, just like that. Just sharing my experience, sharing what I was dealing with, and wanting to encourage other people out there who are going through something similar to me, that is in the end to hold on. So it's as though my mind made a complete about turn. It was so amazing because what started happening is people started resonating with the messages I was sharing. And that's when I realized, oh, wow, I'm making an impact. I'm actually reaching people out there. And that was so exciting for me. I can remember getting messages, and this is in the beginning, from people in Australia, Africa, New Zealand, England, and I'm in Trinidad in the midst of what I called my hell, talking myself up and simply sharing what I'm doing out there, what I'm going through, and connecting with so many people who are thanking me for being brave enough to share. To me, that feeling is worth more than any amount of money.
Absolutely. And here are two words I didn't think I would hear in the same sentence, hell and Trinidad. But, you know, but no, I get what you're saying. Humor aside, I get what you're saying, that when you start realizing that you are impacting people and you help them better themselves, or just even, sometimes people don't automatically better themselves, but they stop thinking that they have it so bad.
Yeah.
I met on Instagram
And they don't have to wait for it to be perfect either. I think people appreciate you more and appreciate your message more and make a deeper connection when you are connecting with them and sharing while you are in the midst of things. So I tell everyone, just start sharing. Just start letting people know what you're going through. Just share. Doesn't have to be for you. It can be for anyone out there that wants to receive it. Those people are going to connect with you, and it comes right back around because now they begin to encourage you, and it does make a difference. It does.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And sorry, I got distracted.
The blinking.
Yes, for those only listening, you can't see that, and that's fine. She looks like an image appearing sometimes. So for my ADD, that is not good.
I'm sorry, I have no idea what that is about.
It's just funny. So you started teaching people how to own their story. And, that's also what I find amazing, is that your resilience also brought you to a place of like starting your own business. And that's pretty cool because now you're doing something that you absolutely love and it's relatable. And I like what you said in pre-interview, because you said we were talking about coaches. And, I call myself a coach too, and I am certified, but you said you don't need to be certified, girl. So talk about this a bit. What's your take on that? Because I think it's such a great take.
Yes, thanks. I think if you have been through something, you have a story. It's your story. It's your life experiences. You have knowledge that other people can benefit from. It's your knowledge. You do not need to be certified to teach what you already know. However, you may want to get certified. And when I say certified, I mean learn to do certain aspects of business so that you can apply your knowledge too. For instance, yes, it's your story, but you may not know how to write a book. Yes, it's your story, but you may not know how to build your own course. Yes, it's your story, but you may not know how to properly put that into a keynote talk. So there are things you would want to learn. Sales is a big one. I think every business owner or anyone wanting to go into business needs to know how to make sales, because if you are not making money from your business, it's not a business, it's a hobby. That
I
is a
love
fact.
that.
I stand by what I said. You don't need to be certified to teach what you already know, or to teach your story, share your experiences. What you need to learn to do is to package that to deliver it to your ideal client, your audience. You need to package it in a way that they would be able to receive it, understand, and follow what it is you are presenting to them. And when it comes to sale, you need to be a master at sales to be able to sell your goods to your clients so that you can now profit in your business. But being certified to share your knowledge, no. Of course, on the business side of things, yes, you need to register your business and all of that, but that's not what I'm talking about. Just to make sure there's no misunderstanding for anyone out there. I don't want
Yeah.
anyone saying, Susan, that is not correct.
No, let's get back to that in a second, turning it into a business. But I also liked what you said about, you develop your own blueprint. And I thought it was brilliantly said, because sometimes we have all these ideas, or we know what's the solution to something, but we're stuck somewhere else. So
Yeah.
what did you do when you wanted to really, put it out there?
I started listening to what people were telling me they wanted. Because as long as you start connecting with people out there, they are going to reach out to you. They're going to be asking you questions. And all you really have to do is pay attention to what they're asking. The number one question I got asked for years before I even decided to do anything about it was, how did you start doing what you're doing? How can I do this too? How can I build my own business? How can I do what you're doing? Can you help me? Can you coach me? These are the questions I have been asked over the years. And in the beginning, I didn't have a clue how to do this, but I just started, like literally. I started, what was the first thing I did? I think the first thing I did was off of social media. I had a workshop. Then I started having small events that weren't structured in any specific way, because I was just trying to get something started. Then I started doing webinars, workshops online. Then I learned how to do ebooks and stuff like that. So I have a number of ebooks now that I sell. But then because I wanted to go further, and I decided, you know what? This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. That's when I took the initiative and I invested in myself. So now I have a coach. I am constantly working to improve myself, business training, every area of my business. I'm constantly improving myself so that I can always share what I learn to my clients. So it's one thing to want to do something and not know where to start. But sometimes all you have to do is just take the initiative. Just do something. Do what feels right at first.
Yes.
What feels right at first, because it's either it's going to work, it's not going to work, but either way, you're going to learn. And then from there, you can now decide, okay, you know what? I don't like how that went. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try something different. That is how I did it. I mean, for anyone now starting and they are able to really go all in on themselves and invest in themselves, I would always recommend get someone who has already been where you are, get someone to work with you, get a coach and work with them. But for someone who wants to get the ball rolling, even if they just want to test the waters, just start. Just start. You can, I mean, things are so much more modernized now compared to where I started. You can do so much on social media alone. You can even have paid events on Facebook.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll stop you here 1 second, because I know that I've done events on Facebook, and I've coached some people to do some events on Facebook. And there's one thing that is always common. It's the fear, the fear. And you're like, I'm not going to put an event out there. What if no one signs up? Like no one. Well, girl, you go on and you do it. So what will people think? Who cares? They didn't show up. What do you think? What they think? But what do you say for that fear specifically? Because I think that quite often what you say here is like, start. You need to start, take the first step. But that first step is fear that is always holding us back, in our self-talk, so enlighten us.
Well, first, let me just say that fear and self-talk, oh, girl, this Caribbean accent in America, playing in this field, held me back for a long time because I was fearful that people wouldn't accept me because I sounded different. That was one of my biggest fears. And then it's only when I started really speaking to myself and got my support network. I was like, wait a minute, Susan, you have come so far just being you. Why you want to be all up in your head now? And it took me a long time to get over that fear and imposter syndrome. But back to your question. So thanks for mentioning that, because that is so real. But when it comes to,
and look at us now.
Exactly, right?
Oh, look at us now, a French girl interviewing a Caribbean girl, because I had the same thing about my accent. I was just like, and then I just thought like, whatever, if you don't like it, don't listen.
Exactly. And I just started slowing my speech because I naturally speak really fast. But I decided I am not going to be trying to speak any American accent. I'm not going to try to pretend to be anything I'm not. People have to accept me the way I am. And I think that is one thing too that also caused people to be drawn to me, because I just keep it as real as I possibly can. But on the note where you are having an event or anything and you're not sure whether people would show up or not, so what? So what? First of all, I have had events on Facebook. The least amount of people I had show up was 3. I am serious. 3. Because
was it your mom and your 2 sisters?
No.
Because I had that.
No, it wasn't my family, thank God. But at first, I was feeling like, oh my God, this place is just tricky. But then I just made a joke about it. I said, you know what? I said, you know why you all are here? You ladies are here because you know what you want. You're not like those other people not willing to invest in yourself. You know you want more and you are willing to put your money where your mouth is. So you know what? I'm going to just feed you as much as I could. Let me know when to stop. And I went all in on those 3. I mean, the way I dealt with them, you would have sworn there were like 50, 100 people in that room. And that is what you want to do. You want to show people that it's not about quantity for you, it's about quality. So whether there's 2, 3, 5, it really doesn't matter. They are getting all of you because you are there to serve. And once you do that, those people, they're going to talk about you. They're going to give you a review. They're going to go and tell other people. So the next time you do have an event, ask those same people, hey, can you give me a testimonial from my last event? That one testimonial is going to bring so many people into your door. It works. It works.
And you're absolutely right. And passion wins it all, always. I find when you're passionate about something, and I think that when you're passionate, it's not about who's listening really, or who's there or who's not. It's about what you're talking about. So, I think my little take in this would be, if you want to start a business or if you want to share your story, just make sure you're passionate about what you do, or about what you share.
Yeah.
Because you can't just sit there and say like, okay, so I had a good story, I'm gonna go share it. It needs to be something that is like in your gut and in your heart, and then when you speak, people are like, oh my gosh, I just say I love her. And that's what you want people to do. Ultimately, it's like to maybe not love you, but respect what you're saying, or respect you as a person, so that what you're saying is really entering their brain and is helping them. So now, where can we see you or hear you? Besides, you should do a one woman show, by the way.
You're
But
funny.
besides that, where can we see you?
Well, you can see me everywhere. I'm across all social media platforms. My handle is at the Woman to Woman Network, because, like I said, and speaking life into women is what I do, helping women turn their stories into businesses. It's what I do. So it's at the Woman to Woman Network, and my website is woman2womannetwork.com. Oh,
Awesome.
but I do have, can I share about my virtual summit?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I do have a virtual summit that is taking place in March. It's taking place the 16th and 17th of March. But even if you tune into it after March, I'm going to make sure that it's still there, because it's absolutely free to the public. First of all, my platform and myself is all about giving back to others, to help others create the life, business, income, and impact they want. So I am bringing a whole bunch of amazing speakers, and they are just coming to share. They are not just coming to share their stories. They are not just coming to share their experiences, but they are coming to share their knowledge. They are coming to share their formulas, their blueprint, their step-by-step, everything that works for them. So if you are a man or woman, because it's open for all, education is open for all. It's what you take that information and do with it afterwards that matters. I am inviting all of you to register absolutely free. All you have to do is go to www.woman2womansummit.com. Now, the www is important.
That's why you're
www,
saying it.
yes, www.woman2womansummit.com. It's absolutely free. I'm sure it's going to bless your life in a big way.
Well, awesome. I know where I will be. So, well, Susan, it was such a pleasure meeting you. And you have to come back, because I know that there's a bunch of different subjects that you can speak on. And even if it's just to give us a good laugh, you need to come back. Because and that's what I love about people like you is, people who found resilience, people who found the courage to I was going to say reinvent themselves, but it's not even that, to accept themselves and embrace themselves 100%. And now they're happy, and there's just joy, their aura is joy. And that's what I see in you. And I absolutely love it. So thank you for being with us. What would you leave people with, like this one thing?
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here. I feel so comfortable. I want to leave everyone listening to this. Just know that no matter where you are in life, no matter what you've been through, what you are currently going through, sometimes it can feel like it's just too much and you just want to give up. But know that none of it is coincidence. None of it is meant to destroy you. In fact, it's meant to make you stronger. It's meant to challenge you, for you to show what you are made of. You are supposed to stand up and say, listen, this is tough. This is a hard time, but other people out there came back from this. Other people overcame this. So if others did it, I know for a fact I can do it. And choose to stand on everything you are going through. Stand on your story, as I like to say, and not in it. And you would definitely come out on top. No matter what you do, no matter how you feel, don't give up. And if You need any support? That's what Caroline is here for. That's what I'm here for. There are people out there who love you and genuinely want to support you. So don't ever feel like you are alone, because you are not. Okay?
Thank you so much. And on these words, I'm not even going to add anything because it was just beautiful. Everyone who was here today, thank you. If you're watching it or listening it in replay, thank you. And I will see you next week. And Suzanne Peters, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.